Hello, OCO. Hello to everybody. Sorry I've been away for a while. I wasn't feeling too good. My topic today, before I do anything, I must give praises to the Most High. Because without Him, there wouldn't be me or anything. It's like without evil, there wouldn't be no good, then the world would be unbalanced. So it got to have both to make it balanced. And the time now is what's the day? Wednesday, Cougar?
It's Tuesday, May 2nd, 2023.
Okay, my wife just said it. Seven. The time now is 7:40 p.m. And my topic today is about false documentation. Everybody think I hear some people on YouTube always saying they believe everything.
And Yehovah,
Yeah, I did all that already. I did
did you
that
tell
first.
the weather?
No, I ain't tell the weather. I'm gonna get into this because I hear some people on television. I don't want to offend anybody, but he keep this. It's a person I see on YouTube now. Any Indian, real Indian, with no documentation in America is illegal. All paperwork is illegal in the United States. So everybody, oh, it's a person that always go by paper. Just like my wife said, you can write a book. That don't mean everything in there is true.
And then you could write some
See,
letters.
what some people believe, they go by paperwork. They go by what the government say. I heard somebody on YouTube. I was watching him just now. Um, he said that show me proof like government papers. Why you call? That's why a person know you ain't no Indian. Indians know paperwork is illegal in this country. All paperwork. When they give you a ticket for your car, all that stuff is illegal. And and like the Bible said, if just because something is not recorded in the Bible, don't mean it didn't happen. So I don't want to offend anybody, but I have to speak. I'm not gonna let people try to knock natives down and say that they're native because everybody in the world in the United States cannot be mixed with Indian, and DNA is important. A lot of people don't believe in DNA. DNA, well, if DNA was fake, how come they can find murderers sometime with DNA? I did all of my DNA on both sides of my family, so I know what I am. Some people scared to do DNA because they'll find out everybody is not Native American. And I hate to bust people's bubble. And my mother was a Native man, and I even know where she come from, which state she come from, and where her people come from. And my mother's from the Midwest,
And she's
and
from the Iowa State University.
yeah, and
The Iowa State.
so I get tired of people keep running this rhetoric. And if a person believed that paperwork is legal, when they stole this country, they came with their own law, their own religion, their own system. That's but when you just like the flag, just like a Christmas flag, when you bow down to the flag, you bowing down to their system. What made the flag is what you live by. Everything is illegal in America, and even paperwork. And that's why when he said that, um, I show me some proof. Um, Government proof. Why you call on the government and we know the government is not correct? That's paper. It's all paperwork is illegal, and I would say it again. Show me proof that who was here first. It really doesn't matter, but like this is a debate. Everybody trying to push Indians off their land, so and claim that they Indians. And if that was the case, my mother. I never spoke about it before because I know a lot of people are stupid. My mother's people been in the Midwest for thousands and thousands of years. If that was the case, everybody would look the same. And my doctor is from Africa, and we asked him. He said you have to go to one of them old Africans that tell stories, but they can tell you stories from over 2,000 years, but it's been passed down to generation to generation. He said slave boats did come from over there too and brought people here. Some people keep saying that we was already here. When people see me, oh, you're dark, to be a native. I never said that before because I didn't have to prove myself to anybody. But I know who I am. I know who my mother was. I know who my father was. And I'm proud to say I did my DNA because they wanted to find out why my son was acting like that. Brandon, years ago, I had the paper and everything. They did my DNA, and all of my native blood was there. And on and what I'm saying, I'm so mad I can't hardly talk. I only have 1% of African American blood in me. And see, some people are scared to do that, but I'm not. So when people say, "Oh, you're dark being Indian," you've been watching these John Wayne movies. But getting back to my topic, when the person said they go by the law, just like the audit people of those they call themselves journalists, the ones always go in the post office. They said we follow the law. Well, the law to me is just like a policy. The law is not real, but the law was brought here. Indians didn't have no law like that, so y'all following some fake law too. But everybody's brainwashed to believe this stuff. I'm not trying to take them from African Americans, but um, my ancestors was here, and he keeps saying that they was here first. But if that's the case, I'm learning. My mother never spoke. Nobody didn't speak her language. My mother spoke to Shawnee and stuff like that. I speak some of it, but I'm gonna learn it fully, then I be complete. Because if you don't have your language, you're not complete and stuff like that. And so we learn. We even got getting a Bible. Well, my wife got a Bible. It's Cherokee. It's written in Cherokee, and she know how to read it. And you can look right at my wife and see what she was. That's why people be saying all this stuff. And sometimes a person can have a family. Oh, my grandmother was an Indian and stuff like that. Because you see a person with long hair. A lot of times you be looking at a mixed person. It don't even necessarily have to be a native. And I know a lot of people get mad when I say this, but I'm just speaking my truth. I'm not trying to discourage nobody, or like that. It's good to look for your roots, just like Alex Haley. He lied about that story, and here I am believing that he took. That's what I'm saying. You can't believe everything somebody say, and I know natives was here first. Not that it makes a big deal, but people trying to wipe them for. I even met some of my mother's people from her reservation. I met them up at Foxwood, and Jan Cougar had a book with a native lady, and she was from the same state my mother was. She looked exactly like my mother, but that's not what I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to talk about why you got to have proof from the government when we know the government don't tell the truth. So anything, and somebody can write anything. You can even get DNA and pay somebody a lot of money to do it under the table and say that you're native, this much native blood. And that's why I'm saying that it's all lies. But when he said um, that natives, that when he said that about you, show me some proof. What proof do you need from the government? They not correct. They gonna say any what they want to say, and y'all follow them. That's why any Indian will know that line was wrong when he said that show me proof anything from the government, or you're like, why would you? The government is illegal. That's why when you take an oath to become a cop or a lawyer, you swear to obey the system that created the system. So I don't follow anything. I follow the laws that my ancestors had here centuries ago. Even under the World Trade Center, they found a burial ground at the World Trade Center. I seen on television. And they said those Indians have been buried there for over 4 or 5 thousand years. They've been there longer than when Jesus was. And this is a known fact. It's the truth. And that got me hot because people be asking me questions and stuff like that. Oh, you're dark to be an Indian. We're not Indians anyway, but that's something that Columbus did. But that's another story. But what I'm saying, I'm speaking my piece. I'm speaking for all natives that would listen to me, indigenous people. This is something that everybody's trying to do. I know some people is you have Latinos do it, you have African Americans do it, you have white people do it. Everybody wants to be an Indian. At first, nobody wanted to be an Indian, but when they think that all Indians got casinos, that's why everybody's trying to be an Indian too. I'm not doing that because a lot of people that got casinos is not correct either. They not natives either. When you see people at some casino, so everybody's trying to get in on a bandwagon. And like I said before, I don't mean to disrespect nobody. And my mother was what she said she was. And if any Indian out there listen to me or indigenous person, I keep thinking they say that so much. Columbus did that. Uh, comment, sh- comment, share, and like. This topic is about um, fake documentation. Why would you need proof from the government? I heard what he said. Um, Show me any kind of proof um, from the government. Documentation can be phony too, which they are. Because how could a white man make you a citizen of this country when he wasn't one to begin with? So he left all his and all his descendants walking around today, the European descent people. They do the same thing. Some of them would marry an Indian just to get the land. Then he'd end up killing that native and stuff like that. And nobody would even question. They could do poison. They did a lot of stuff. And that's why I'm speaking my truth. I don't like what he said. If you got a problem, you don't know what's going on. When he spoke about uh, what's that Indian name? Winter Wolf. Um, you go by paperwork, so that's why like other natives know what I'm saying. A cultured Indian, a real cultured Indian, down to earth, would not believe he go his own ways. He would not believe in paperwork because it's illegal. You could even ask a judge that he ain't gonna. He probably won't agree with me, but he know that the laws were set up in this country. So when a cop stop you and give you a ticket, that ticket really is illegal because the country was seized, and everybody's um just saying they this and that, and they not. Half the people that saying they natives is not natives and stuff like that. And I'm gonna put it out there, and it don't have to be by people that say, "Oh, you gotta have long hair to be an Indian." You could be bald headed and you could still be a native. The hair don't make you an Indian. And jury, I wear my stuff because I'm at war with other people, and it's a bad thing. But I'm at war with people of color because people of color they have some kind of hatred towards one another and stuff like that. When I worked at Foxwood, I had a problem with Africans, Haitians, Jamaican. Nobody wanted to work with me. I didn't understand why. Y'all should be mad at the system, not me. I didn't create this system. So that's why when a cop stop you, what's the first piece of ID he asks you for? Your driver's license. That's property of the state. That's his property. Even though your picture's on that ID that's fake, that's his too. That's why when the cop said, if you drive his car, I will own your car. He literally mean that. And second, he would ask for your registration and your insurance last. He don't even care about those things. He only care about the driver's license. Why you think in any state you go in, any state, 50 states you go in, they're going to all say the same thing. Man, I see your driver's license. They don't give a damn about no registration yet because that's property of the state. He has for his own property. And if you know anything, you can go to the library. You don't even supposed to have a driver's license to drive a car. They do that so they can make money and stuff like that. But that's what I'm trying to tell people about this paperwork. And when he said that, I knew right then my wife said, you can't be a native talking like that because a real culture Indian know that paperwork is illegal. So why you going to tell people to prove it? Show me government to documentation that slave boats came over here. And when they find slave boats, when I worked in the Shinnecock Reservation in Southampton, they found their slave boats that's underwater still there that have been there over 200 or 300 years, 200, 300 years ago. So where did they come from? Well, somebody, they said those boats are so old, you go down there and try to pull them up, they break apart. So it's like a museum. And they found ships and stuff all upstate in New York underwater. So he trying to say that people was already here, and they said I don't I don't think so. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody or get mad at them. I'm just trying to tell my truth. And my wife, she want to get on here and say things, but she don't feel good. Y'all gonna see her one time. She talks like better about things than I do. She know things that I don't know. I know how to fight because I used to fight in Madison Garden like karate tournaments. I was on the cover of Black Belt magazine in 1976 and stuff like that. And I and my cousin, I'm the one found the picture and stuff like that. But getting back to this topic, people that's go by what they think they know, they assume things, and you gotta get. It's no way that a person can say that. Why would you even? I keep saying this over and over. Why would you say you got show me some documentation? If they show you some documentation, it ain't gonna be real anyway, because the paperwork is really illegal. It's fake. That was brought here, and that's why when you go in somebody's country and you want to conquer that country, them people gonna fight you back because you come to take their land. Once a person conquer your country, they plant their flag there. It's like me. I'm not patriotic to the flag. I mean, I respect people that fought in the army. I do not like that flag. That flag was terrible to Native Americans and slaves and stuff like that. And when Abraham Lincoln wasn't no good either, he was a damn kook too. Um, he wasn't trying to protect the slaves. He was there to protect the Union. It's like here in Connecticut, they got Union Station. I told a girl they call that Union Station because in the 1800s the train carried Union soldiers. And they would ride up to New York and meet up with other regiments, and they would fight Indians all day until they wiped them out. Even Wall Street, when the Dutch and French was fighting on Wall Street, they built a wall to keep the French and Indians out. That's why it's called Wall Street. And part of the wall is still there. You can go there on a tour guide. You'll think I'm lying. And Manhattan got their name from a tribe of Indians that used to live in Manhattan. They was called Manhasset Indians. And in Jamaica, Queens, they had the Jamaco Indians there. Their land used to be right where the Kennedy Airport at. That whole big field was all natives before they got wiped out. Brooklyn, they had a tribe of natives called Canarsie Indians. They got a Canarsie Brooklyn. George Washington got them to be allies, but he needed those Indians to help run the British out of Brooklyn. Now it's an army base they call Fort Hamilton, right in Brooklyn. And Brooklyn was a slave capital of the United States. That's why all the slave boats used to dock right there in Brooklyn on the waterfront in the back of that army fort. And a girl said, I didn't know that. I said, yeah, it's a lot of things people don't know. And George Washington is the eighth president. He's not the first. And people keep, trying to knock natives. I don't like that. Even if an Indian is dark, he's still an Indian. Right away, when people see an Indian that's dark, oh, I'm not being disrespectful or racist. I'm just telling the truth. Oh, you're a black Indian. And when you ask this Indian said, where? Show them to me. A lot of times, person have dark skin, that don't necessarily make them like ain't no such thing as black anyway. Black is a color of paper, and white is white. White paper. There ain't no white person look like paper. My wife call them Euros, short for European descent. You only call a white person white when he's a white supremacist. He think he got power over everybody, like he got white privilege. That's when you say that word. Like I told my son, you go to work, never call your boss. You call him your employer. You know why? Because the boss is another word for overseer. That means you the new slave master. That's what all them journals always say. I pay your salary and all that stuff. They want to be the boss. They think they are above the law and they think they're above God. You don't never hear none of them say nothing about God. When I make my introduction, I always say I must give praise to the Most High. Sometimes I forget and I come back. You see, I was so mad. My wife corrected me. She said, "Did you give praises?" I said, "Yeah, I did that when I first came on." Some people don't do that. Then when some people do pray, like a lot of people pray, they don't be praying to who you think they praying to. They got a lot of evil gods. So you gotta make sure they praying to the right one. People say, I wanna thank God. They really saying I wanna thank Satan. Like when people get Grammys and stuff, not all them people believe in God. They only believe in their money. There's like a lot of other people, they believe in their money. That's why they like to harass people. That's their way of making money. Everything in America is illegal except for the indigenous people. And I say this again and again. Um, People, it's like a person. If you know something, you don't have to prove it to nobody. Why you need documentations when it's coming from a false entity? or something like that. When he said that, I said, my wife, oh, an indigenous person would have known that paperwork is illegal. So why you following the government? That means everybody's brainwashed to follow them. I know you can't do nothing about it now. Only the creator gonna have to do that when he come here and stuff in his band of angels. We have seen them, and they have been in our house. Spirits, you can actually see them. They even got other. That's why I said, what people may make think that we the only people out here. They got other places. That's why you think the government and all these people are trying to find portals and stuff like that because they so obsessed with things that fly. That's why they were looking for flying saucers and things. And we believe that the sources that you see is angel operating them ships. They speak about that in the Bible. And some people believe that the Bible is not for everybody, just for certain people. But my wife looked it up. They said he came in for everybody. No matter, because a lot of people read the Old Testament, and I said, how do you know that God? If a person can repent, like my wife said, no matter what color, if a person is evil, even if his ancestors did things, if that person can repent, well, he can't go into to heaven. That's what some people think, and I don't knock anybody's religion, but other people do. I respect people's religion. They believe in something. Hey, that's them. You can't change people's religion, and man, and you can even put a gun to some people's head and try to make them believe in something you believe in. They would rather die, and you try to change their mind. They say shoot. But that's how much faith they got in their creator. And so you can't I always try to learn by watching other people's cultures, and stuff like that. But back to this paperwork is illegal. So why would you even say that any native know that, any indigenous person know what they did and stuff like that? And they still doing it. The indigenous people today, nobody don't talk about in natives. Like I got a GoFundMe page. I'm trying to raise money for the Indians of New Mexico. You see people giving them money. I don't know, so I can't really assume because I say other people assume. So I don't want to be in that category. I don't know if somebody's giving them money because a lot of them don't have stove. They freeze to death. Do you ever see it on the news? But when something happened to a European descent person or a foreign country, it's all on the news like they God Almighty. And that's what I'm saying. And another thing, I bring him up too. A lot of people don't know about Jim Thorpe. He was an indigenous person that started NFL football. He ran track in 1928 and won the Olympic gold. He was a baseball player and he played football. And the New York Giants are the oldest football team out there, and the Green Bay Packers. All other teams you see now, they came out in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. He was born in 1888, died in 1952, I think. I met his granddaughter at a Foxwood because she come there to dance. And he was when he died, she was being born. He did silent movies in 1912. You can look him up. His name is Jim Thorpe. When they gave out the Heisman Trophy, O.J. Simpson had it. They also gave out the Jim Thorpe Award. This white guy tried like he created football, but they try to act like he did something. Then they got him kicked out or technicality. They even took his Olympic gold medal from him. They didn't know what he was. And not all Indians are the same color either. He was light skinned, so they thought he was Irish or Italian. When they found out what he was, they didn't like it. And they even got a community house named after him. I think it's Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Jim Thorpe Community Center. Look him up. You can go right to your phone and look him up. He was a part of history, a great history, and he was a great man. I know a lot about him. But the football now is made out of vinyl. They used to make it out of pigskin, but they stopped. I guess they thought it was cruelty to animals. You see how long it took the Indians to get that watch that Indian off the Washington Redskins helmet. Now they call themselves the Commandos. Sound like more like an army team, like they are military. But they making all that money. You didn't see them. I'm just speculating. I don't know if they gave the Indians money. Knock. I heard a lot of Indians say y'all making all this money by having us on their helmet, but you ain't giving us no money. And people don't. People didn't even like any. I used to get in fights with people right in school when I went to school in Brooklyn. Uh, I don't know. You put it's like my friend. His name Lightfoot. He said, if you're born to be a black man, be proud of that. If you're born to be an Indian, be proud of that. But some people, it's in the Bible. They said other people gonna take on other people's identity. You can get false documentation. If you got money, money buys anything. You can get false documentation and say that I'm 99% Indian. You just get somebody that'll go along with that's in the medical business. But mine's is real. I'm not fake. And like paperwork, I said one time that I'm gonna end this conversation. Um, Paperwork is illegal. I'm quite sure my native brothers and sisters, native sister would agree with me. And the lady said, "You don't talk like that, Indian." I said, "That's Hollywood. Natives don't even talk like no native would be talking like that. You go get cheap, start 'em war. With white men, golden hair will die." That's Hollywood. That's why this guy was asking me how. I guess he was trying to treat me. I said, how am I doing what? What are you talking about? But to me, that's stereotyping somebody, and they do that to a lot of people. They're like they always betray black people, selling drugs and shooting and killing one another. White people do the same thing, and not all black people do that. Those are just bad black people. Like if you deal with one person, you can't blame the entire race. Like if a Jamaican person did something to me, that's just an individual. I'm not gonna blame the whole Jamaican people. Like I don't like no Jamaicans. I got Jamaican friends right here in Connecticut that works in Walmart. Even a Jamaican guy said he don't like to be around ignorant Jamaicans, stuff like that. So I'm just a little heated. I don't mean to get all mad, but I'm just saying I don't have to prove anything to anybody because if you ask any native, even one that don't follow the culture, he'd know that paperwork was bought here. All this stuff was bought here. So when you say you ain't got no government proof or documentations saying that slaves come here, so that's stupid to say. Why would you say that? And that means you follow fake law too. You follow a paper trail. So that's all I got to say. So if you like what I say, comment, share, and like. So I would talk to everybody later. Um, Danada Wado, that means take care and have a blessed evening. Yawish, that means thank you. So after a while, I'm changing my way of come on. I'm gonna have a new intro when then y'all see what it's gonna look much prettier. I'm gonna have me as a cartoon sitting in front of a fire throwing sage, and when the flames come up, an eagle will come out. And when natives yell, that's a war cry. You know, when native yell out. If some of y'all don't know, and like natives being a sweat lodge, put rocks in there. They don't throw the rocks away because that could be his grandfather's rocks or like that. So I'll talk to y'all later. Well, I'm sorry if I offend anybody. I don't like doing that. I like to tell my truth. So good night. I will talk to everybody later. Have a good evening. Thank you.